Problem number 17. Problem number 17 asks to determine if the following equations are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. This is easiest done if both of our equations are in slope-intercept form. Since one of my equations is already in slope-intercept form, I'm simply going to work with the other one. 9x plus 3y equals 18, and I'm going to put it in slope-intercept form. So just like our previous problems, I'll subtract 9x from both sides, and 3y will be equal to negative 9x plus 18, where I will then divide by 3 on both sides, and y will be equal to negative 3x plus 6. And now I can see that I have a negative 3 slope and a positive 3 slope. Those are opposite slopes, but not opposite reciprocals. So our solution is going to be neither. Problem number 18. Again, I have one equation already in slope-intercept form, so we're just going to work with the other one. 2x minus 4y equals 8, where we'll subtract 2x from both sides. Negative 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 8, and we'll divide both sides by negative 4. Y is equal to negative 2 divided by negative 4 is going to give us a positive 1/2 x. 8 divided by negative 4 is going to give us a negative 2. So now I have a positive 1/2 slope and a positive 1/2 slope. Since both of those have the same slope, we are dealing with parallel lines. Number 19, again, I have one already in slope-intercept form, so we're just going to deal with the other. 5x plus 15y equals 30, where we will subtract 5x from both sides. So 15y is equal to negative 5x plus 30. We're going to divide both sides by 15, and we determine that y is equal to negative 5 over 15, which is negative 1/3 x plus 30 divided by 15, which is 2. And here we can see, again, I now have a reciprocal slope, but I don't have an opposite slope. So we have another neither. In problem 20, we have one equation already in slope-intercept form. So again, I'm going to deal with the one that's not. 12x minus 6y equals 24. Well, we'll subtract 12x from both sides. So negative 6y is equal to negative 12x plus 24. And we'll divide by negative 6. So y is going to equal negative 12 divided by negative 6. Well, that's going to give us a positive 2x. 24 divided by negative 6, negative 4. Well, now I can tell negative 1/2 and positive 2 are opposite reciprocal slopes. That's going to give me a perpendicular line. Number 21 asks for us to graph the equation using the x and y intercepts. This is an extension of the previous page problems. So we need to first figure out what the x and y intercepts are. I'm going to start by plugging in a 0 for x. So 3 times 0 plus 6y is equal to 24. 3 times 0 disappears. So we divide by 6, and y is equal to 4. So when I have a 0 for x, I'm going to have a y value that's 4. That's good to know, because 0 for x, y value that's 4, that'll show up right there on my line. Now we need to keep going and find out what happens when I plug a 0 in for y. So we have 3x plus 6 times 0 equals 24. Where the 6 times 0 will disappear, and we're left with 3x equals 24, and we divide both sides by 3. X is equal to 8. Now, that gives me an x value of 8 when my y value is 0. So I go over 6. We can tell it's not going to fit on the graph, so I'm going to go ahead and say 7, 8, and draw my dot. And we can pull out our ruler, connect the dots, and we end up with a line. Let's look at number 22. Same process. I'm going to start with putting an x in for 0, or sorry, a 0 in for x. So negative 1/2 times 0 plus 3 is equal to y. That will simplify out. My y value is going to be 3. So we have a 0 for an x and a 3 for a y. Give us a graphed point there. Now we need to figure out when my y is 0 equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. So now we want to isolate for x. We'll add 3 to both sides, so 3 is equal to negative 1/2 x. I'm going to multiply by negative 2 over 1. So when we multiply by the reciprocal, that cancels out that coefficient. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So multiply by negative 2 over 1, which is the same as negative 2. Negative 6 is equal to x. So we're left with the ordered pair, negative 6, comma 0. We can graph that. We end up there. So again, we're going to grab our ruler. Let's keep that line going. And we end up with a graphed line that represents this particular equation. Number 23, write the equation of the line that passes through the point 4, negative 7, and 2, negative 3. In order to graph the equation of that line, we need to first know what the slope is. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's label my ordered pairs. First ordered pair, second ordered pair. So my y2 is negative 3. Sorry, I'm not on the page. Negative 3 minus negative 7 over 2 minus 4. Negative 3 minus negative 7 is the same thing as negative 3 plus 7. So it's going to give me 4 over 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Again, we do not have a negative in the denominator, so 4 divided by 2 is 2. Keep the negative. All that work to find out that our slope is negative 2. Now, since this slope is the slope of the line between these 2 points, we only need to utilize one of these 2 points and our slope-intercept form equation, y equals mx plus b. And you've heard me say it multiple times in class. This is my favorite form to use. Standard form is great when you're graphing. Point-slope form is sufficient, but I've noticed that students tend to make more mistakes with it. This one tends to have fewer mistakes. So we're going to plug in y value from one of my ordered pairs up here. I'm going to go ahead and use that one. So it's got a -3 for a y value equals my m value we already determined was -2. So -2 times my x value from the same ordered pair that we got our y value from, plus b. B is what we're looking for. It's the only thing that we're missing to be able to set up an equation. -2 times 2 is -4, plus b is still equal to -3. We want to isolate and get b all by itself, so we add 4 to both sides. -3 plus 4 is 1, is equal to b. At this point, we know the value of b, and we know the value of m. We can rewrite our equation using those two values. Y equals m, which is -2, x plus b, which is 1. And that would be our final solution. Right, the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 3/4 x minus 7 and passes through -8, 1. Well, we have an equation here, and the only thing I need from the equation is that value there. That's our m value, that's our slope. And since we're looking for a line that's parallel to it, we know that we're going to keep the same slope, so m will remain 3/4. So this is the only information we need to progress through this problem now. So my y value, let's write down the equation first. Y equals mx plus b. Substitute in the values we know. We know the y value is 1, equals my m value is 3/4, times my x value of -8 plus b. Well, -8 divided by 4 is -2, times 3 is -6. We continue to isolate to get b by itself, so we're going to add 6 to both sides, and b will be equal to 7. Well, we now know the slope because we solved and got that from our previous equation. We now know our b value, which is 7. We can write an equation. Y equals 3/4 x plus 7.